Have you ever wondered what it takes to change the world? Not just a little bit, but to fundamentally shift the course of history for an entire nation. Today, we're diving deep into the life of a man who did just that, Nelson Mandela. His story isn't just about politics. It's a powerful lesson in resilience, forgiveness, and the unbreakable strength of the human spirit. Born in 1918 in a small village in South Africa, Rolihlahla Mandela's name prophetically meant troublemaker. Growing up, he listened to stories of his ancestors' valor before the arrival of white colonists. These tales planted the seeds of a deep-seated desire for freedom and justice for his people. He was the first in his family to attend school, where a teacher gave him the English name Nelson. From these humble beginnings, no one could have predicted the towering figure he would become. As a young man, Mandela moved to Johannesburg, the bustling heart of South Africa. It was there he first witnessed the harsh realities of apartheid, a brutal system of institutionalized racial segregation and discrimination. Black South Africans were treated as second-class citizens in their own land, denied basic rights and subjected to daily humiliation. Mandela couldn't stand by and watch. He became a lawyer, co-founding the country's first black-led law firm with Oliver Tambo, providing affordable legal counsel to those who had nowhere else to turn. His legal work was just the beginning. Mandela soon joined the African National Congress, or NC, and became a leading figure in the anti-apartheid movement. Initially, the ANC practiced nonviolent resistance, inspired by leaders like Mahatma Gandhi. They organized boycotts, strikes, and civil disobedience campaigns, but the government's response was consistently brutal. One of the darkest days was the Sharperville massacre in 1960, where police opened fire on peaceful protesters, killing 69 people. This event was a turning point. For Mandela and many others, it became clear that peaceful protest alone was not enough. The government banned the ANC, forcing them underground. In response, Mandela co-founded caltural.thanks, or Spear of the Nation, the armed wing of the ANC. They focused on strategic sabotage, targeting government infrastructure to cripple the apartheid state without causing loss of life. But his activities made him the most wanted man in South Africa. In 1962, Mandela was captured. He was put on trial for sabotage and plotting to overthrow the government. During the infamous Rivonia trial, he delivered a powerful 3-hour speech from the dock, a speech that would echo through history. He concluded with these immortal words, "I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. But if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." He was sentenced to life in prison. He would spend the next 27 years behind bars, most of them on the notorious Robben Island. This wasn't just a prison. It was a place designed to break the spirit. Prisoners were forced into hard labor, breaking rocks in a limestone quarry. The blinding glare from the white rock permanently damaged Mandela's eyesight. He was allowed one visitor and one letter every 6 months. He was isolated, punished, and tested in every conceivable way, but they couldn't break him. Inside those prison walls, Mandela's leadership only grew stronger. He became a symbol of the struggle, a source of inspiration for millions around the world. He organized education classes for his fellow prisoners, turning Robben Island into Mandela University. He learned the Afrikaans language and the history of the Afrikaner people, the very people who had imprisoned him. He understood that to make peace, you must understand your enemy. Meanwhile, outside the prison, the world was changing. The Free Nelson Mandela campaign became a global movement. Musicians wrote songs about him, stadiums were filled for tribute concerts, and governments around the world imposed sanctions on South Africa's apartheid regime. The pressure was mounting, both internally and externally. The apartheid government was becoming increasingly isolated. Finally, in 1990, after 27 long years, the moment the world had been waiting for arrived. The new South African president, F.W. de Klerk, lifted the ban on the ANC and announced Nelson Mandela's unconditional release. The images of him walking out of prison, hand in hand with his wife Winnie, fist raised in a symbol of victory, are etched into our collective memory. It was a day of pure joy and hope. But his greatest challenge still lay ahead. South Africa was a nation on the brink of civil war, deeply divided by decades of hatred and fear. Mandela's task was to navigate the country from apartheid to democracy without it tearing itself apart. And this is where his true genius shone. Instead of seeking revenge, he chose reconciliation. He preached forgiveness. He understood that bitterness would only lead to more conflict. He worked closely with President de Klerk to dismantle apartheid, and together they were awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993 for their efforts. The following year, in 1994, South Africa held its first ever multiracial democratic election. For the first time in their lives, millions of black South Africans were able to vote. Long lines snaked around polling stations for hours, people patiently waiting to cast their ballot for freedom. Nelson Mandela, the former political prisoner, was elected as the first black president of a free South Africa. As president, Mandela's focus was on nation building and reconciliation. He established the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, a groundbreaking process where victims of human rights abuses could tell their stories and perpetrators could be granted amnesty for telling the truth. It wasn't about punishment, it was about healing. It was about acknowledging the past to build a shared future. One of the most iconic moments of his presidency came during the 1995 Rugby World Cup, hosted in South Africa. Rugby had long been a symbol of white Afrikaner dominance, but Mandela saw it as an opportunity to unite the country. He famously appeared at the final match wearing the jersey of the national team, the Springboks, a team once reviled by the black majority. When he presented the trophy to the team's captain, the stadium, filled with people of all races, erupted in a chant of "Nelson, Nelson." In that moment, they were not black or white. They were one nation. After serving one term as president, Mandela stepped down in 1999, demonstrating his deep commitment to democratic principles. He didn't cling to power. Instead, he transitioned into a new role as a global elder statesman, championing peace, health, and education through the Nelson Mandela Foundation. He continued to be a voice of conscience for the world until he passed away in 2013 at the age of 95. Nelson Mandela's journey from a village boy to a political prisoner, and from a freedom fighter to a president and global icon, is one of the most incredible stories of our time. He taught us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. He showed us that forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, but the ultimate act of strength. His legacy is a reminder that one person, armed with an unshakable belief in justice and a profound capacity for empathy, truly can change the world. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through the life of the great Madiba. If his story inspired you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the lives of history's most fascinating figures. Let me know in the comments what part of Mandela's story resonates with you the most. See you in the next one.